Okay. Um, so this uh, price action has been really bad all week. Today was no exception. This trade took probably 15 years off of my life. I full transparency because that's what these videos are for me to kind of journal how I was feeling, and also of course journal the model and how it presented itself. Full transparency, I have not felt this emotional about a trade in a long time. I was at multiple points begging this to just hit my stop loss because I was tired of being in it, and the way I operate is I'm not going to break even early or move my stop loss early, for no good reason. I'll break even when like I was gonna break even here, which would be following my model, but I'm not gonna. I never move my stop loss tighter, so wasn't gonna do that. So I had to let this thing play out, and I mean, for fuck's sake, it just everything about this trade was extremely frustrating. Um, we Let me go over why I took it to begin with. Uh, Now, of course, the daily is respecting bullish fair value gap here. Um, it's not necessarily going to stop me from taking shorts if shorts present themselves, especially because we were rejecting off of this 4 hour so nicely. And so the 4 hour was a higher time frame PD, right? If you go to the 1 hour, you'll see we actually closed. Now, this was after I got in, but we closed with the body of this 1 hour candle underneath this liquidity here, which I really liked because typically when you do that and it's not just a wick, if this was a big wick here, then I would think, okay, maybe this was just a sweep. Typically, when you get an actual close below at the body, you're going to get a continuation and it won't just be a sweep, which obviously we ended up getting. So I felt very good about that. I was already in the trade when this candle closed, but that just gave more confirmation. And of course, what I entered off of, though, was this 15-minute getting respected. And there was a 5-minute inversion that took place. This candle entered me in. And then you could see, I mean, it doesn't even look good on the 5-minute. I mean, it is just a barcode, right? It barcoded for what? It entered me at 10:50. So 20 minutes, we were just straight up going back and forth around my entry, using my entry as support and resistance, essentially. And then it finally decided to make its move to the upside, going against obviously what I wanted. It was heading towards my stop. And honestly, after sitting in 20 minutes of chop, I was thankful. And at this point here, I was physically speaking out loud, please hit my stop loss. Because I just, honestly, price action has been it has been like this all week. This has been price action the entire week. So, yeah, I just didn't want to hold on to this trade anymore. But what ended up happening is, you'll see on here, I'll bring this back to the 15-minute. ES actually, right here, we got an SMT. It swept its high and came back into the 15-minute to then go lower again. Now, normally when this happens and the SMT actually gets respected, you're going to see us flush, right? Obviously, that didn't happen today, and that's just because price action, again, is just not really... There's no rhyme or reason as to what it's doing, at least in terms of the way I see price and how my model works. And so that caused me to be in this trade for another essentially hour, which, again, just annoying. Like, if it was going to SMT there, which it did, it was looking good for a second. Like, continue lower. I don't see the reason in doing all that just to go higher, but that's fine. Whatever, it is what it is. And of course, the other thing that kind of was annoying is just the fact that, like I said early on, we were just ping ponging around my entry this entire time, and then it's hilarious how it just uses my entry as a legitimate like springboard to just go higher. Like I don't know. It's fun. It's comical. I don't know. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I didn't risk too much on this trade specifically because it was Friday. Price action has been terrible all week, so I was taking that into account as well. And um, we were also respecting this 15-minute fair value gap, which I didn't think too much of because at the end of the day, we were respecting this 4 hour really well. And especially with this hourly close, which obviously happened after I entered, and obviously respecting this 15-minute bearish fair value gap, I just figured why would one 15-minute fair value gap down here overrule this 15-minute fair value gap plus the 4 hour fair value gap that's being held. And I guess you can make the argument for the daily fair value gap here being used. But this is something I would take again. This followed my model. This specific trade I would never take again had I known how it would play out. Not because I took a loss, just because genuinely my mental capital is shot. I'm so glad it's the weekend now and I don't have to trade tomorrow, because genuinely this took so much mental capital away from me. This trade was fucking terrible to be involved with, but it followed my model. The entry was there. I had my reasons for wanting to see us go lower, especially because I had my break even here, but if ES had taken, if ES, it's so hard for me to believe that we actually left these lows untouched on ES. Like, look at the 4 hour here. That is unreal. I mean, that's really all I was waiting for. Had we swept those lows, that probably would have been where I broke even, because then I thought, maybe we could get an S&T from there, and I just wouldn't have wanted to see us going higher from there, so I would have broke even. However, obviously, we kept these intact, which is just crazy. And if I look at NQ here, let me see this. I mean, I guess there's an SMT here, but also like there's an SMT there, but whatever. I could see it. There was an SMT, but damn, especially after, I don't know, but yeah, that was the trade. Again, didn't risk much on this, thankfully. I risked $150 on it. That's less than 0.5% of my account. On a good week, I'd be risking $250, which is 0.5%. It just wasn't a good week. It was actually the opposite of a good week. The price action was just so bad. But yeah, followed my model through and through the entire week. I was break even up to this point, so to lose less than 0.5% on a week like this week, I consider that a win. I mean, essentially what this week has done for me is hopefully we can move on from this. Next week will be better. What you don't want to do in a week like this week is blow your account and not be able to trade next week. You gotta survive through these weeks. These weeks are gonna happen. I'm actually glad it happened. It shows that I won't completely combust during weeks like this week. And if you can survive weeks like this week, you should be able to prosper in the better weeks. So hopefully moving forward, to have another week like this next week would really suck. Hopefully next week's better. And yeah, I mean, I get a nice 2-day break from the charts, which is really nice too. I need it because this trade took a lot out of me. And yeah, that is it. So yeah, with this model, I don't know if I've held a trade for longer than like a half hour with this model. It usually hits my break even, hits my stop, or hits my TP within a half an hour of entering minimum or maximum, sorry. But yeah, this again, it just goes to show how poor this week was in terms of price action. because this is not the only trade I held for over a half hour this week. So, but yeah, again, I would take this again, and hopefully next week provides us with some better price action and some more opportunities. So.